It's only been really in the last 10 years that I've started to get shows that are big enough to include all of me. And up till that point, I was only showing parts, right? Either showing drawings or photo installations or a sculpture and a drawing maybe, but you never had a sense of the whole. That title comes from an estimate of a Chinese proverb that was made by Anne Carson in Plain Water, where she quoted from the proverb saying, "A dream dreamt in a dreaming world is not a dream, but a dream not dreamt is." So that's what this is. It's the dream not dreamt. It's an artist's book, which means, for me, it is part of my work, not documentation of my work. It's not a catalog, etc. What I did was I photographed an exhibition that I did in China maybe 6 months back. It was a very large show. What the scale of the show allowed me to do was bring all the different parts of me together in one place. So the sculpture, the drawings, the photo installations, the monologues, the artist books, all in dialogue. This particular building is a new museum by Tadao Ando, so it has a lot of integrity. And the whole thing just came together in a way and inspired me to consider a publication that would just focus on the experience of this show. And so what I did was I directed a still photographer in taking images throughout the space to try to actualize this experience for a potential viewer, right? So that's the concept behind the book, that it brings the experiential near to perhaps to somebody who's never seen it, most likely to someone who's not seen it. And the experiential has always been the biggest part of my work. It's what I focus on. I mean, from the United States, there's this unfortunate tendency to kind of gather together all the Asian cultures as though it's one thing. And China is so distinctive, and for me, it was a new kind of a discovery. I have always felt strongly about China, and the reading that I've done, which it was all reading, the incredible extent of their invention in regard to technology going back hundreds and hundreds of years, whether it's agricultural technology or digital, whatever. But they are just an incredibly interesting culture for me. And I was very happy to do this show there. So the audience was part of it, and the show was edited to address the audience. The thing that really was important for me was the entire space had daylight. The problem with daylight is people won't lend their work. It's very simple, the drawings, nobody will lend. And I've always found that problematic. And since this was a show I wanted to do where you would be mixing all the different idioms together. In other words, in the same room, you'd have sculpture and you'd have drawings, or you'd have photography and you'd have sculpture, whatever mix. The drawings are considered extremely sensitive to light. However, my drawings aren't terribly sensitive for light, and I own a lot. I deliberately, at some point when I was able to afford it, held back drawings. And I'm really glad I did that, because I can use them now in a show like this with the daylight and give the experience to the viewer that I think is best for the work. Architecture plays a very big role in my work, and one of the things you'll see in A Dream Not Dreamt, the big thing about this show is, okay, you've got a round building. Yeah, that's very difficult. So I threw out rules and I said, okay, we don't need, right angles. We can just make it up as we go along. The architecture that I built for the installation, it's like 20 rooms going through 3 floors. Only one of them had right angles. The others somehow flowed through the round spaces. And the feeling was to keep the vista unknown. So every time you would enter or come into a new space, there would be nothing that came before to help you.